Welcome to the Musar Torah podcast for Parshas Bamidbar. Join us as we explore the weekly Parsha, uncovering valuable insights, and striving to become the best versions of ourselves through Musar teachings. Have you ever had a truly powerful spiritual experience? A shiur that moved you to tears? A Shabbos table where everything felt aligned? A moment of tefillah where the words seemed to come alive. And then, a week later, you found yourself right back where you started. That feeling of, I was so inspired and then nothing changed, is not a modern problem. It is, in a way, the central drama of Sefer Bamidbar. Parshas Bamidbar opens at a moment of breathtaking promise. Bnei Yisrael are encamped in the desert, organized with precision around the Mishkan. They have received the Torah. They have built the Mishkan. The Shekhinah rests among them. Everything is poised for greatness. Then, almost immediately, it all begins to unravel. From the peak, Chazal in Masechah Shabbos note that the very next event, Bnei Yisrael's departure from Har Sinai, was itself the beginning of a decline. Rabbi Chama bar Rabbi Chanina explains the phrase, they journeyed from Har Hashem, means that they turned away from Hashem. The people left Har Sinai like, as Chazal put it, a child bolting from school. What follows is a cascade. The complainers, the craving for meat at Kivros Hatava, Miriam's sin, the catastrophe of the Meraglim, the rebellion of Korach. The heights of Har Sinai give way to 40 years of wandering. How could this happen? How could a nation that witnessed the greatest revelation in history deteriorate so quickly? Rav Moshe Lichtenstein Shlita answers, and it reveals something profound about the nature of growth itself. When Hashem decrees 40 years of wandering, a year for each day, for the Meraglim's mission, we might be tempted to read this as pure punishment. Rav Lichtenstein suggests something deeper. The 40 years weren't only a punishment, they were a redesign. The original plan had been built on the model of the dramatic moment. Thunder, lightning, the mountain trembling, an entire nation hearing that voice of Hashem. This was an extraordinary event, once in history revelation. The assumption was that such an experience would be transformative enough to carry Bnei Yisrael all the way to the land of Eretz Yisrael. It wasn't. Dramatic moments fade. Intensity dissipates. Without slow, patient daily reinforcement, even the most overwhelming experience eventually loses its hold. The 40 years in the Midbar represent a shift to a second model, one built not on the single overwhelming moment, but on gradual, consistent, ongoing formation, day by day, year by year, a generation shaped by long, steady discipline rather than a single flash of light. The contrast between these two models plays out in a fascinating way in the story of the Meraglim. When the spies return with their discouraging report, two men push back against them, Kalev and Yehoshua. Their responses, though, are strikingly different. Kalev silences the crowd with force. He cuts through the panic and declares, "We can surely go up and conquer the land." It is bold, electrifying, exactly the kind of decisive, dramatic response the moment seems to demand. Yehoshua, by contrast, does not seem to silence anyone. He speaks differently, more gently, more persuasively. He tries to bring the people along rather than overpower them. At first glance, we might think Kalev was the more impressive leader. Hashem singles out Kalev for special praise. My servant Kalev, who had a different spirit within him and followed me wholeheartedly, him I will bring into the land. That is the pasuk in Bamidbar, Parak Yud Daled, pasuk Chaf Daled. Yet it is Yehoshua, not Kalev, who is chosen to lead Klal Yisrael into Eretz Yisrael. It is Yehoshua whose legacy is summarized with the remarkable tribute, Yisrael served Hashem all the days of Yehoshua and all the days of the elders who outlived Yehoshua. This is from Yehoshua, Parak Chaf Daled, pasuk Lamed Aleph. Kalev was a hero. Yehoshua built something that lasted. The difference between these two leaders mirrors the difference between the two models of growth. Kalev was the man of the moment, powerful, direct, decisive. His spirit was extraordinary. Yehoshua understood something that Kalev may not have, that leading a people to lasting transformation requires patience, gentleness, and the willingness to meet them where they are. Kalev's approach could win an argument. Yehoshua's approach could change a generation. The Mesilas Yesharim, in his chapter on Zehirus, watchfulness, describes exactly this phenomenon. He quotes the Navi Yirmiyahu's lament over his generation. No man regrets his evil, each one returning to his own course, as the horse rushes into battle. This is from Yirmiyahu Perek Ches Pasuk Vav. The Ramchal explains that this is actually one of the primary strategies of the Yetzer Hara, to keep people so restlessly busy and distracted that they never find a moment to stop and examine where they are going. The drift away from Hashem that happened at Har Sinai was not a dramatic rebellion. It was exactly this, a child running away from school. Meaningful growth must be built the same way, small, gradual, consistent. This week, let us take an honest look at the difference between our moments of inspiration and our daily habits. Many of us have had our Sinai moments, experiences that generally move us and made us want to change. We need those moments. They are gifts. The question is, what structure have we built around them so that they actually last? Think about that one area of growth you have been meaning to develop in davening, in learning, in how we treat the people around us. Instead of waiting for the next inspiring moment to carry us forward, let us choose one small, concrete daily practice this week and commit to it. Not something overwhelming, something quiet and sustainable. Yehoshua didn't build his legacy with one great speech. He built it through a lifetime of steady, patient, consistent leadership. We can do the same, one day at a time. Sefer Bamidbar begins at the peak and shows us the valley. The lesson is not that inspiration is worthless. It is that inspiration needs a foundation. The 40 years in the wilderness were not wasted years. They were the years Bnei Yisrael spent learning how to become the people who could actually enter and hold Eretz Yisrael. The dramatic moment gets us started. The long game is what gets us there. May we all merit to build our avoda on the model of Yehoshua, patient, consistent, and lasting. And may the small, steady choices we make this week be the foundation of something that endures far beyond the moment. Have a good Shabbos.